Everything we've worked on so far has used a fixed set of sample cards. But of course, this app only becomes useful if users can actually customize the list of cards they see. This means adding a new view that lists all existing cards, then lets the user add a new one, which is all stuff you've seen before. However, there's an interesting catch this time that will require something new to fix, so it's worth working through this. First, we need to state the controls where there are editing screens visible. So add this to content view. @state private var showing edit screen equals false. Next, we need to add a button to flip that boolean when tapped. So find the condition if differentiate without color or accessibility enabled and put this before it. VStack, HStack, spacer, a button with an action of self.showingEditScreen equals true. And the contents being an image using the SF symbol plus dot circle with some padding, some background, and a circle clip shape. Then another spacer after the HStack. Then around the whole VStack we'll add a foreground color of white, a large title font, and some padding. We're going to design a new Edit Cards view to encode and decode a card array to user defaults. But before that, I'd like to make the card struct conform to codable like this. Now create a new SwiftUI view called Edit Cards. This needs to have its own cards array, then be wrapped in a navigation view so we can add a done button to dismiss the view. It'll have a list showing all existing cards. We'll add swipe to delete for those cards. We'll put a section at the top of the list so users can add a new card. Then we'll have methods to load and save data from user defaults. We've looked at literally all that code previously, so I'm not going to explain it all again here. I hope you can stop to appreciate how far this means you've come. So replace the template edit card struct with this. Struct edit cards conforms to view. At environment, presentation mode, var presentation mode. At state, private var card, a new card array. At state, private var new prompt is an empty string. At state, private var new answer, also an empty string. Then in the body, we'll have a navigation view. Then a list. Then a section with a header text add new card. Then a text field with a prompt placeholder bound to the text new prompt. Then a second text field with a label answer bound to the text new answer. Then a button add card with the action add card. The second section will do for each 0 to cards.count using ID self and index in, VStack with a leading alignment, and some text with the card's prompt in a headline font, and another text with the card's answer using secondary foreground color. Then for that for each, we'll do on delete, perform remove cards to get swipe to delete. Then after the list, we'll do navigation bar title, edit cards, navigation bar items, trailing, button done, action dismiss. With a list style, grouped list style, and on appear, perform load data. Then we need some methods. We'll say func dismiss, presentation mode, .wrap value .dismiss. Func load data if let data equals user defaults .standard .data for key cards. If let decoded equals try question mark JSON decoder .decode an array of card.self from data, then self.cards equals decoded. Func save data if let data equals try question mark JSON encoder .encode cards. User defaults .standard .set data for key cards. Func add card. Let trimmed prompt equals new prompt .trimming characters in .whitespaces. Let trimmed answer equals new answer .trimming characters in .whitespaces. Guard trimmed prompt .isEmpty is equal to false, and trimmedanswer.empty is equal to false, else return. Then let card equals card with a prompt of trimmed prompt, answer of trimmed answer. And cards.insert card at 0, save data. And finally, func remove cards at offsets index set, cards.remove at offsets offsets, save data. That's almost all of edit cards complete. But before we can use it, we need to add some more code to content view so it shows the sheet on demand and calls reset cards when dismissed. Add this sheet modifier to the end of the outermost Z stack in content view. .sheet is presented $showing edit screen. On dismiss, reset cards. Then edit cards inside there. As well as calling reset cards when the sheet's dismissed, we also want to call it when the view first appears. So add this modifier below the previous one. .onAppear, perform, reset cards. So when the view is first shown, reset cards is called. And when it's shown after edit cards has been dismissed, reset cards is also called. This means we can ditch our example cards data and instead make it an empty array that gets filled at runtime. So change the cards property of content view to this, an empty card array. To finish up with content view, we have to make it load that card's property on demand. This starts with the same code we just added in edit card, so put this method into content view now. Func load data, if let data equals user defaults .standard .data for key cards. If let decoded equals try question mark JSON decoder .decode array of card.self from data. And if that worked, then self.cards equals decoded. And now we can add a call to load data in reset cards, so we can refill the cards property with all saved cards when our app launches, or when the user edits their cards. So I'll put load data here. Now go ahead and run the app. We've wiped out our default examples, so you'll have to press the plus icon to add some of your own. Even though all our code is correct, the result is unlikely to be what you expected. When you press plus, you'll see a new screen slide in and it's totally blank. We designed a nice list with 2 sections, a navigation view, a navigation bar item and more, but all we're getting is a blank screen. What's happening here has in fact been happening since our very first project, but it's possible you haven't noticed. When you rotate a navigation view to landscape, you get a blank view. This is not a bug, and in fact it's SwiftUI trying to be helpful. You see, when running in landscape mode on some iPhones, iOS allows 2 views to sit side by side, where the left-hand view determines what the right-hand view is showing. We can customize how the 2 views work when moving between portrait and landscape, but SwiftUI's default is to show only the right-hand view, the detail view, and in our case, we don't actually have one, which is why we see a blank screen. To fix this, we need to tell the navigation view that it should only ever show one view at a time, which means it won't try and show a non-existent detail view. So add this modifier to the navigation view in edit card. Navigation view style, stack navigation view style. Now when you run the app, everything should work as intended. Honestly, this really should be the default setting, because the current default is thoroughly confusing. Regardless, that's our app complete. Good job.